first idea we came up was the idea of a young couple that move over from Italy to England. When moving in, the male in the relationship notices abnormal happenings in the house. He first goes upstairs and goes to the master bedroom. In this master bedroom is a wardrobe with a doll in it. This spooks him, so he goes downstairs to tell his wife. His wife is currently talking to some neighbours next door. They have a child that resembles this doll. He takes his wife upstairs to go and see the wardrobe and the doll, and it's just disappeared. The wardrobe's gone, the doll's gone, there's no sign of what happened. The film then goes on to a few mysterious happenings, including the doll. The second idea we came up with was of a homeless guy living under a subway underpass. This homeless man wants to be a normal guy, but every day he suffers abuse and disruption from the public. This bullying goes on throughout all his life, so he decides that he wants to take back on everyone who's got him in that position by killing them in very abnormal ways.
We could use a variety of production companies in order to produce our film. One of the production companies we could use is After Dark Films, because they're very current and extremely popular in the independent film market. They also run an independent horror film festival, and that's in conjunction. They have backing from Lionsgate, which means we'll get a lot of exposure for our film. The second production company we could use is Film 4 Productions, because they're a British company and they have experience working with small and large budget independent films. An example of a film that worked on in the horror genre is The Lovely Bones. Another horror production company that work with is Hammer Films. They've been running since 1934 and have produced the classics such as Dracula and Frankenstein. They also have experience working with small scale and large scale productions, so again, a lot of exposure for the company and the film.
Psychological genre. We are using these two genres, slasher and psychological genre, because we think it'll be a challenge to incorporate them both and introduce horror into just 2 minutes of film. We will blend the two genres together, which we thought would be a good way to do the horror opening. Psychological thriller is a fictional thriller story which emphasises the psychology of its characters and their unstable emotional states. It creates tension on the mind, and that is why it's called psychological. It is a subgenre of the broader ranging thriller category. It is fiction in the sense of sometimes having a different sense of reality and complex and tortured relationships between obsessive and pathological characters. Psychological thrillers often incorporate elements of mystery, drama, action, horror, particularly the psychological horror. Slasher film is a subgenre of a horror film that revolves around a psychopathic killer. This killer stalks and murders his victims in extremely violent and memorable ways, which stays in the viewer's minds. The violence is what sets slasher films apart from other horror films. A slasher film will devote more screen time to portray murder and mayhem than a traditional horror film. Slasher films seem to be the most violent and bloodthirsty horror films.
Possible character stereotypes we could use are if we're having a male main character, it'll be a strong leader figure, which will be best used if we have a group of people surviving against something. Or we could have a weak and feeble-minded character, which will build on the tension. Female character, we could have a weak from the beginning character, where she starts off weak-minded and then she gets stronger and stronger throughout the film and learns to fight the evil. Or we have a confident and commanding character, where again it will be used in a group scenario. Possible locations we can use are urban areas, which will be good for teen horrors, and also especially at night the dimly lit street lights will allow us to create shadows. Rural areas, these are used quite a lot in slasher films as it emphasises isolation, which can create tension. Rural settings can also be used in the day, as the feel of isolation is never lost. And ruined and abandoned houses, the dark shadows and the destroyed decor adds to the tension of the film, and it can prove to foreshadow the rest of the film. Finally, props, we can use many weapons, such as small weapons like knives and larger weapons like bats and metal poles, and we can use these as the large weapons when the killer is going for someone. They could be dragging it across the floor to create a scrape himself. And the use of dead bodies will also be beneficial if we are doing a slasher film, as it can emphasise the scale of the killer's rampage. Also, if we use an abandoned house, aged furniture with scratches and blooded stains on will also be beneficial.